Chamberlain, Penny Dumas, Jim Cuniff. We have Heather Hart and myself, the acting chair today, Charlie Blanchard. And our agenda is at 6:30, we'll have a call to order and the approval of the minutes of the April 24th meeting. At 6:32, we have two approval not required requests for the board to consider. At 6:35, we'll have the town planner update, followed by old and new business, and then adjournment. Has everyone had a chance to look at the minutes of the April 24th meeting? Do we have any changes or corrections? No, hearing none. Do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Okay, second?
Second.
All right. All in favor? Opposed? No one. Great. Okay, the first A&R is from Robert J. and Kenneth P. Kozowski. It's an A&R plan of land on Podunk Road, Sturbridge. So, you want to just give us an
Yes.
overview?
So on the plan, you'll see a small parcel containing 5,702 square feet that's labeled as Parcel A. That is coming from land of Silverberg, and that's to be conveyed to Kozowski. The remaining land of Silverberg meets the requirements, so I would recommend the board endorse the plan as submitted.
Great. Any questions or comments?
One question. Is this in chapter land or no?
This was the lot that they recently requested be removed from chapter land. They, I think, divided this actually into they divided out two lots to build a house for their daughter, and I think one extra lot.
And it was accepted and it's out of the chapter?
Right,
now?
the planning board voted maybe about a month and a half ago not to recommend that we not exercise the right of first refusal.
And then do they have to pay the back taxes? Is that how that works?
That's through the assessor's office. I would assume so if it's not a family sale, but I think it's a family sale, so I think there may be an exemption in that. I'm not entirely sure, to be honest.
I was just curious. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, any other questions or comments? Then we have a motion then to sign the A&R.
So moved.
Second?
Second?
Okay.
And everybody must sign everything, so I don't know if you want to wait until...
Yeah, we'll do the second one and then we'll go
Okay.
through this. Okay, so vote on that one.
I
All
don't want to
in
get too
favor?
much exercise.
Okay. Okay, and so the second one.
Oh, I'm sorry, I
Oops.
missed I forgot I have to take minutes. Who's motion and second?
Russ.
Um, Russell and Penny.
I seconded.
Second.
Okay, thank you.
And I think,
Sorry.
did we vote?
We just did, yeah, really
okay.
quickly.
Sorry about that.
We're all in favor.
Okay, so the next one is an A&R from Russell B. and Wendy L. LeBlanc at 130 Brookfield Road.
Yes. So you'll see on this plan a parcel that's entitled Parcel B, containing 83,042 square feet, and that is going to be retained by Wendy and Russell LeBlanc, and then Parcel A is the remainder, which is 10.06 acres and more than sufficient frontage. Since the plan meets the requirements, I'd recommend the board endorse the plan as submitted.
Okay, great. Any questions or comments? If not, I'll take a motion to sign the A&R.
So moved.
Okay, Russell, second. Jim? Okay, all in favor? Very good. Okay, we'll take a minute then to sign. Yeah. Get a little exercise during the meeting.
So just an update on the open space plan. We are wrapping up. We have 2 sections left to draft, and then we'll have a complete draft of the entire plan. So at the next meeting, actually, in advance of the next meeting, I would like to send you all a draft, so you can just kind of peruse through that, and we will be needing letters of support from the Planning Board, Board of Selectmen, Conservation Commission, Community Preservation, kind of the usual groups, and Central Mass Regional Planning Commission, and then we'll be all set to send that in. So we've been working quite a bit on that, so I think it's coming out really well. And Section 5, Rebecca deserves a lot of credit for that. That's all of the protected lands, and she's done a ton of research and really pieced together kind of all the background on a lot of the parcels that wasn't in the plan before. And we have some great photos from the photo contest.
Great.
So, and just a reminder, the annual town meeting will be held June 4th. And our next meeting dates are June 12th. We'll have the Dowdy Road, Scenic Road public hearing, joint hearing with the tree warden for the tree removal that was done without approval, and some additional tree removal and stone wall removal that has to be done to make the driveways for the A&R lots. And so we'll have that and an A&R. I asked that they submit both on the same night so we could actually see where the lots were, see where the trees were that were cut down. So we have the plans downstairs. We'll be getting the packets ready probably pretty soon so that you can go out, but the trees are in the process of being marked now. So if you wanted to go out and take a look at that before the meeting. And then June 26th, we'll have Baba Sushi. Attorney Mark Borenstein will be back in to discuss the parking at Baba Sushi. He was scheduled to come in on the 12th, but something has taken him out of the country, and he won't be back in time. So I've moved him to the 26th.
And that's just an update from our discussion earlier.
Right, from
Yeah, we're gonna
their
make a final decision on
counts.
it.
Right,
Yeah.
do a final decision on that, now that they've been through one of the Brimfield shows. So,
Question for you, on June 12th, there's a woman at work that's retiring after 35 years, and her party is after work that night. I hate to miss a meeting, but do we know if everybody can make
as
it?
far as I know, everybody else can make it, so it should be just fine.
Do you think it's okay?
I do. Sometimes.
I'll drive through and give you my thoughts on the stone wall and then ahead of time, and, okay,
Yeah, we can give you the application, you can give me any comments
okay.
in advance if you'd like.
Good.
Thank
So-
you.
Great.
Thank you.
Second.
You're welcome.
Okay. Okay, next we have old business. Russell, do you have any old business? Penny?
No,
Jim?
One thing I'd like to bring up, remember a few years ago, some kids from the high school came and talked about disposing of plastic bags. And it was probably an idea that was before its time. Well, recently, 12 to 15 cities and towns in Massachusetts have banned styrofoam and expanded styrofoam. It does fill up the junkyards. Wheelabrator does burn it, but it induces toxic chemicals into the air. So I think we should be thinking about that. And then the question is, at some point in the future, should the planning board be recommending to the Board of Health to look into it?
good idea. Because there are alternative
Is that under our
packaging that's
jurisdiction?
much.
Yeah, I was wondering
healthier.
if it would really be a planning board.
Well, you know, I think these other towns went through that. We would have to really find out what their alternate plans are. I guess one of the biggest contributors is the school lunch program. Also, things that are shipped to you that have the expanded styrofoam, that would be illegal. And then the other thing is supermarkets. In packaging meat and vegetables, they use the
a lot of that,
styrofoam
yeah.
packages too.
I think, Russell's point maybe is a good one, though, about whether or not it would be the planning boards, to initiate that or preview. I know the last time the request was made to the Board of Selectmen, and they had reviewed it and so forth. So maybe, Gene, you could check into it and see what the right venue for that might be. But I think it
Is
might
it-
not really be the planning board.
Is it a
'Cause
zoning?
it would be a
is it
general bylaw
Is it a
anyway,
zoning
wouldn't it?
bylaw? Oh, it's not a zoning
No.
bylaw?
I wouldn't think it would be a zoning bylaw, no.
No, that's why I said
Yeah.
whether we should think about it and suggest to the Board of Health, but maybe it's to the.
You could always weigh in on
Selectmen,
it,
don't
but I
know.
think it'd be good to maybe look into, how things
Who's-
like that are brought forward, whether it
Sure.
would be a general bylaw and maybe refer to the Board of Selectmen. And
Okay.
maybe the Board of Health would have some real interest in it, as well, more directly involved.
Mhm.
It's usually, the trash and the trash management is usually under the Board of Health. So,
Okay,
good. Yeah,
So
so
good-
maybe
good
we'd
thought, though.
refer it to the Board of Health, too. We can look into it if you could.
okay, sure.
Great, thank you.
That's
Heather,
all.
anything new, Russell?
No, well, I did want to ask about Hebert. Somebody said they've started work down there, Hebert's Candy.
I'm not sure that she started any work, but I know that they just received the final sign-off on the septic on the Title V, so she is going to be able to use the system that's there with a couple of upgrades
Oh, that's good.
or repairs, so that was really good news for her,
Should be a
so.
nice
Speaking of
facility
which, how
down there.
how about Roy Rogers with their was it, I heard
So
there was
there's-
an issue with that septic in the
So
in
there's.
the culvert?
They're still working with the Conservation Commission on that. And we had to go out to Mass DOT, 2 weeks ago, I think. I had to go out with Becky Gendro, our conservation agent. Greg Morse couldn't make it, so Becky and I had met with him in advance of the meeting. And we had to go out and meet with the applicant and Mass DOT. So the issue is that there's a stream that's been culverted under the building, excuse me, some years ago. I guess potentially by a farmer had owned that land, and they believe that it was it's considered an illicit connection right now. So if you remember during our hearing process, they were proposing to move that culverted stream outside of the building and then just reconnect it, repair the sinkhole, or see if Mass DOT would repair the sinkhole and tie it back into the system. So when we met with Mass DOT, they said that they cannot tie back into the system, that they will have to excavate and daylight it on their own site because it was an illicit connection and they won't allow it to tie into the state system. So there's going to be additional excavating to daylight that out onto their property so then it can flow into the stream and then it can naturally discharge. So they are still working on ideas for that. So at the meeting, they tried to bring up different ideas of would things be acceptable, and Mass DOT's response was, we're not here to design this project, we're here to let you know that you can't connect to our system.
Well, that's too bad.
So,
So-
to their stormwater drainage system, that's what they're talking about, not connecting to, really?
Mhm.
And where theirs is it culverted where their system is?
It is, and it connects, it goes under and connects, so they're still sorting that out. They left there with some ideas on, things that they could do. They're working with the Conservation Commission now to rectify that. And then, also, you should be aware that there was an improper notification of abutters for our public hearing. The assessor's office only gave the address of the association, and when it's condos, every condo owner should receive notice. So we were made aware of that after we had already filed the decision, and the applicant has outreach to the association, spoke to Mr. Caplet. He's I believe, the president of the association. He was the one that outreached to me. So I had to involve town council in that, and they had two options. They could request a new hearing, and we would do everything all over again, or they could wait. And because we caught it before the conservation hearing, I was able to get a corrected list of abutters from the assessors. New notice, the Conservation Commission postponed their hearing, new notices went out to the abutters, so the association members received notice individually, so they did have the opportunity to go to the Conservation Commission meeting. Still, we've only had two people, I believe about two people coming to the meetings. I've offered to meet with anyone in the condos that had any questions, and it seems like everybody is satisfied, but what it does is it can bump the appeal period up to 90 days from the day in which they actually heard about the project. But luckily, everyone seems satisfied with the plan, and there were no great issues that I knew of. I spoke to the assessors so that they would realize the next time there's a condo, they need to give, every property owner, they own a unit in there.
Is that a new requirement, or was it always a requirement?
It's always a requirement. It's a new requirement for conservation commissions. I'll say new, maybe 10 years new, but for planning boards, it was always that way. And I'll be honest, when I get the notice, I just flip through the notice. I don't, I don't pay attention to if there's 50 names on there or 30 names on there, so. So I
That's too
guess,
bad.
yeah. So that's still pending, still going through conservation, but hopefully it'll be done. They'd like to build this season,
Yeah, I bet.
so
So it's not a deal breaker, the
No.
cost that's associated with that?
hopefully not,
new-
yeah,
Oh, that's good.
yeah. They've already bought the property, so they've got to find a way to make it work.
Mm.
Unfortunately, with the septic system, with the modifications that, versus having to redo it, that'll save them some
Might
money.
save them
They
some,
have to
sure.
do- But they have to do something else on this.
Mhm.
Yeah.
part of it.
Right.
It must be kind of a big deal, though, to open up the stream and get banks in and everything like that, take the culvert out. That seems to be a lot to have to go through,
Mm,
Yeah.
yeah.
particularly since it's then going to go into a culverted system down further anyway. It doesn't seem there's a real
Right.
benefit, but we
Yeah,
won't judge
they can
that.
culvert it, but they have to daylight it on their own property, so they have to just get it to a point where they can, which might be going behind the building. They did ask Mass DOT if they could run it out in the DOT right-of-way, because there's like 100 feet there, and that wasn't an option either.
That's too bad. Okay, new business, Penny, did you have anything?
Oh, I just wanted to say, we did hold, the CPC held our community needs study, and it wasn't all that well-attended, but the people that came did contribute excellent information, and I'll be putting it together and distributing it so people can see the thoughts of the community.
Very good, thank you. Jim? No? Heather?
I'm all set, thanks.
Oh, I'm all set too, so we have a motion then to adjourn?
So moved.
Okay, second, Jim. All in favor? Very good. Thank you all.